It was a Super Sunday in IPL 2024 once again, and when we have a Super Sunday, there's always changes in the league table. First things first, RCB fans celebrating in Bengaluru tonight because they've got their second win on the trot, just off a fantastic all-round performance against the Gujarat Titans. And in the second game, obviously we had CSK fans going crazy because after two back-to-back losses, they've kind of pulled their campaign back on track with a phenomenal one-sided, huge margin victory over the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Now we'll discuss about both games in detail, but let's kick off with the RCB versus GT game. Sarvesh, we see it often, we see it all the time in IPL that whenever there's a team which does not have a chance of qualification, it does prove to be a pain point for the rest of the sides.
Yeah, every single year. I think GT, they still, before this game, they had a better chance of qualifying than RCB. And RCB, they had plenty of issues, but I think after that win, they looked much better. And I think they just looked to carry the momentum in this game. And GT already had issues. I mean, GT, the bowling was not working. The most reliable bowler, he got tonged for 73 runs off his 4 overs. So I think I think they started losing the plot, because that last game was, I think it must be mentally very exhausting when you lose like that. So I think that they were just carrying that baggage from that game, I felt.
Yeah. We said this at the beginning that if GT had to do well this year, in our preview as well, they needed a big year from Shubman Gill.
Yeah.
And he, to his credit, because he's been thrust with captaincy and trying to manage all this, we are not really seeing Shubman the batter come to the fore. Because on when he has a great season, he's consistently a 500 plus run scorer at a decent strike rate, but they're just not getting that from him this year, are they?
Yeah. It's That's the main issue, because they lost the captain, and then their primary batter is not in great form. Because last season, if you remember, Shubman Gill was winning matches on his own. He was that qualified two against Mumbai Indians. I think that knock made all the difference. And all the critical matches, I think Shubman Gill put his hand up, and he was scoring those runs, and he was scoring those runs at a quick pace. So I think he was doing that job at the top of the order. So that allowed the other batters to just come in and play those supporting knocks, and it was working out for them beautifully. But I think this season, when your main battle struggles, I think that's where you start feeling the pressure. I think today, I think Sai Sudarshan took that responsibility. Shubman Gill got out early, but I think still, I think I felt I mean, it's easy to say this after the game, because now you can see that they were clearly 10-20 runs short. But I think at one point I felt that 200 is a decent total on that wicket. Probably maybe they needed 10 more runs, but I think the way they bowled after that, I think that that pretty much described that this is not their year.
Yeah, I mean, Shubman Gill's not been doing his bit, but someone who has been doing his bit and doing it beautifully this year for GT has been Sai Sudarshan at number three. What a revelation.
Yeah.
And I keep saying this, that the more I see of him, the more impressed I'm getting, because he's clearly worked on his game, and his strike rate, which used to be, you know, the talking point, because he used to have a slow start and then make up in the end. But this year we're seeing a different Sai Sudarshan, one that's taking responsibility of building the momentum for the innings and just teeing off from ball one.
Yeah, I think in the initial games we saw that Sai Sudarshan was taking his time, and I think after that, in last few games, I think he has been given a different role. And when a batter knows how to bat in different modes, I think that's a very huge sign for the team management, because they can then make flexible plans. I think now they have started to make those flexible plans, and Sai Sudarshan is a key part of those plans. And I think if you, like I said, if you have somebody who can bat in two different modes, that tells you that you have a very good player in your hands. And I think that's where you can be a bit more flexible. I think that's what they're trying to do. And then that's another good move which worked for them was pushing Shah Rukh Khan up at number 4. I think they should have done this earlier, I felt. And I think finally they did it today, and it worked out for them. So I think something is working out for them. It's not like that they have been outplayed. Something is working out for them. They'll just need to figure out a few more things about the bowling.
Yeah, I was very impressed with that move because I've never seen Shah Rukh Khan bat at number four,
Yeah,
and I don't know where he bats in domestic cricket. But yeah, just because he's the kind of player who can get going from ball number one in the middle of the innings, if you need a bit of a push, a bit of an impetus to come in, he seemed like the perfect player.
yeah,
I wonder if it was also directed by the fact that Sai Sudarshan being a left-hander, they wanted a right-hander on strike
yeah,
with him, which is why they didn't go with David Miller or Rahul Tewatia, but decided to go with Shahrukh. But
yeah,
worked out beautifully well for them.
yeah,
58 of 30 deliveries, five massive sixes in that. Um, it was a funny kind of innings because you saw people struggling at the top. Because if you look at the start, Wriddhiman Saha and Shubman Gill gave them,
yeah,
that's 19 and 4, 23. So almost 4 overs for just 21 runs. The middle was great, but then the end again left a lot to be desired because a 19 ball 26 is
yeah.
not something you associate with a David Miller.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt they should have. I felt they could have gotten to 210 at least. David Miller, we know once he gets going, he can do that. But I think, yeah, you rightly said. I think that it didn't happen for David Miller today for some reason because but David Miller has been their consistent batter this season. So I think they expected a bit more for him, and it didn't come off today. Bad day in the office for him. Because why I'm saying this because when even David Miller was fielding, I saw him. Uh, I had never seen David Miller making those kinds of mistakes that he did today. He was not looking at his best today. Something must be going on there.
Yeah, he had fitness issues, in this tournament. So I'm
Yeah,
just wondering if he's not fully 100% fit. And when you're not 100% fit physically, sometimes it can affect your game in many ways than one.
yeah,
If you look at RCB's bowling card, that name again, Swapnil Singh, opening the bowling for them. They tried it in the last game. He's done it again this time. 3 overs, one for 23. You can't ask for more from someone like that, can you?
yeah, absolutely. They kept him under the wraps for a while. I think now that they do not have that pressure of winning games, I think now they have released Swapnil Singh. They are using Karan Sharma in a much better manner. I think something must be going on there. I mean, they should have trusted these bowlers before. Now it's too late probably for them, but I think even Mohammad Siraj was looking good today. So I think things have started to click for them, but I think it's slightly late for them. But still, I mean, when your players start performing for you, it's always a good sign for any franchise. And like Virat said at the end, that you still have to play for your pride. You still have to perform in a tournament like this because there are a lot of other things at stake. I think you are at the end of the day, you are professional cricketers, and I think you need to do your best whenever you go out there and perform. I think that's what they are doing. I would say this was a professional performance. They didn't let that earlier phase affect them. So I think yeah, full marks to RCB.
One of the things is we speak about this tournament throwing up a lot of new names, and people like your Shashank Singh, people like Ashutosh Sharma have just got some beautiful backstories. Swapnil Singh, once again, for those who haven't, just go and click on his profile and read about him. He's got a fantastic backstory. I was reading it the other day because obviously I didn't know much about him when they first played him. So I did a bit of research, but if you have the time, go and read his story. It's a beautiful, feel good story, one of perseverance, one of hard work, and one of real commitment and passion to the sport that is kind of giving him rewards. And he's not a young bloke.
Yeah,
So for someone to come in and face what he has and then come out of it and now again perform at the highest level, yeah, really speaks volumes about his character. So
yeah,
very, very happy for him. So that was it. We had 200 for three. One of the things RCB did today was they got rid of their overseas fast bowlers, and they decided to go with all four kind of batters
yeah,
from overseas. So they played with Faf du Plessis, they played with Will Jacks, they played with Glenn Maxwell, they played with Cameron Green. As a result of the fact that they weren't getting a whole lot from either Alzari Joseph, Reece Topley, or Lockie
yeah,
Ferguson with the ball. So they decided to pack themselves with four of their overseas batters.
yeah,
And boy, did that help them out today because Glenn Maxwell with the ball was good and Will Jacks with the bat was something else today. Now, whichever way you look at this scorecard, when you're chasing 200, you win with 4 overs to spare. You're just one wicket down. This is an absolute annihilation, an absolute demolition of the opposition. Whichever way you see it, just a fantastic batting performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you remember, we discussed this before that their bowlers, their overseas bowlers, are not giving them good returns. So maybe they should. This is what we discussed before that maybe they should look to get all the Indian bowlers inside in that team and then just trust your batters, overseas batters, to do it for you. I think it took them so long to go there. I felt they should have done this earlier because if you're not getting the kind of returns that you want from somebody like Lockie Ferguson or Alzari Joseph, then I think it makes no sense to just play musical chairs between those overseas bowlers. Just refresh your strategy because they have got good Indian seamers. They have Akashdeep, they have Vaishak, they have Siraj, they have good Yash Dayal. I mean, these four quality bowlers can play for you on any surface. So I think they should have done this before, but I think it's what they are doing right now is they are at least correcting their mistakes. And now coming back to this strategy, I think it worked for them. Not because they won this game, but I think they had a player like Will Jacks sitting out because they were not able to get that overseas slot for him. And now I think now he has started playing continuously. We saw what he could do. Will Jacks at one stage he was batting on 44 from 29. And after that, in the next 12 deliveries, he scored 56 runs. I mean, this is not normal. If you remember the couple of knocks that Fraser McGurk played, those knocks destroyed the opponents. That Travis had knock also. Those were somewhere around 50 runs from 15 balls. I mean, no comparison, but I'm just trying to put this into perspective that 56 from 12 is not easy. This doesn't happen at all. I mean, I won't
No.
even say this is an outlier, but because I have never seen this happen in a tournament like IPL. So I think this was truly a special knock where he just got going. And also look at the kind of bowlers who were bowling at that stage. It was Rashid Khan, and it was a designated death overs bowler. There were no part timers bowling at that time. It was Mohit Sharma. It was Rashid Khan. So I think doing that against these guys, I mean, chasing 200 plus target, I think it's never easy. And I mean, yeah, I understand that they had 9 wickets in hand, but still, doing that is something brilliant. I mean, I never seen this happen.
Yeah, this IPL has been a statistician's delight with the number of massive scores that we've seen put up and all
Yeah,
of that. But yet, this Will Jacks innings was such an anomaly, as you say,
yeah, yeah,
because 14.2 overs is when Will Jacks got his 50.
yeah,
16 overs, the game was finished, and Will Jacks had got to 100.
yeah,
As you said, he reached his 50 of 32 deliveries. In the next 9 balls, he got from 50 to 100.
yeah,
So it's just he just teed off. Like I don't know what switch it was or what it was
yeah,
in he might have had. I don't know if there was a drink that came for him when he got to 50 or something like that. But it looked like he had a sip. Someone came with a message and said, "Mate, just let's get this over and done with." And he just went berserk. I was watching, and it looked like you were playing one of those computer games where you can hit sixes on demand and fours on demand. And two good bowlers, yeah. If you look at that bowling card for one reason, you will notice what we are seeing, because how often do you see Rashid Khan going for 51 of his
yeah,
4 overs? We can't say much about Mohit Sharma because we've seen him go for 73 in 4 overs. So yeah, 41 from two. But if you uh, do the math, you'd
yeah.
say that he was on track for 82 today. So
He has
um,
considered now 113 runs from his 6 overs, last 6 overs that he has bowled. 113
yeah,
from 6 overs. This is I mean, this is not normal. This is not normal from Mohit Sharma standards, and by any means, this is not. This doesn't happen a lot. So I think this Mohit Sharma was clearly having a bad day again today, and he came in front of Will Jacks. I think he had decided that he will go for everything, and that's what these two guys do. Virat was also set, so I think it was just bad timing today. But I think Mohit Sharma is not having a good time right now. And maybe they will look to give him a break. And again, coming back to their other bowlers, Rashid Khan, again another bowler having a bad day. We rarely see this happen, but we have seen this happen now with other bowlers. That other bowlers like Bumrah, who are now sort of giving away those extra runs because it's not happening for the entire team, and this can happen. We have seen this happen a lot. That sometimes when you when one or two bowlers look to carry the attack, it can happen to them. It can get to them. So I think that's what is happening right now, and I think this looks very difficult to read. I mean, 16 overs, 206 against Gujarat. You'll probably never see this happen again. But
Yeah.
this was a very bad day for them.
Yeah, I mean, just to put things into perspective, RCB needed to go at 10 and over, and you look at that right hand column, and every bowler has gone pretty much beyond,
Yeah,
well beyond that. 20.5, 10.75, 12.75, 15. These are not normal economy
yeah,
rates.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
just a absolute mauling. One of the things with GT that struck me just as I was reading that bowling card is they've got three overseas bowlers in that lineup. You've got Azmatullah Omarza, you've got Rashid Khan, you've got Noor Ahmed. Rashid aside, because he's absolutely a class act. But do you think there's probably a place for one name that used to be part of their title uh, campaigns was Josh Little,
yeah.
the Irishman, and we've not seen him yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's there, if there any injury. I think I don't know if
I
it's.
saw him I've seen him on TV, so that's why I asked. I saw him in the dugout sitting there, with a sullen face, as in, when am I going to get a go?
Even,
Um,
yeah, Josh Little,
yeah,
even Mark Spencer. I think they both have a case here. They could probably. I mean, there's nothing to lose from here. I think it's difficult for GT, even for GT to qualify now. But so there's nothing to lose. Just look to do something different. Just take a leaf out of RCB's book. What they are doing right now. I think what DC have done with Faisal Agha, I think maybe you can look to do similar things. Just look to unleash another batter, maybe another bowler. I think look to just do something different. Maybe Mohit Sharma needs a break. They will probably get him in next few games. Who knows?
yeah. Right, so that was the story, an absolute mauling by RCB to pick up some points towards the flag end of the tournament. The only thing RCB fans would be saying, we wish this had come a bit earlier. We wish this had come a bit
Yeah,
earlier
yeah,
because it just sounds like it's a bit too late for them.
yeah,
Right, there we have it. Another one-sided game in match number 2, where CSK piled on the runs, scoring 212 for 3 against an SRH bowling attack. Now we've said this often about this SRH team is yes, they score a lot of runs when they're batting first,
yeah,
but their bowlers also concede a lot of runs to the opposition. We saw Mumbai get about 240 odd against them once. So yeah, and we saw RCB almost win a game against them, when they had scored 200 plus. But yeah, the trend continues. CSK getting to 212. Familiar names there on that list. Ruturaj Gaikwad continues his form with 98 of 54. Shivam Dubey there giving them the finishing kick. Mahendra Singh Dhoni, of course, comes and scores at 250 once again. But yeah, as a Kiwi, very, very pleased to see one name on that list of Daryl Mitchell, who's batting at number 3, comes in. And I thought, to be honest, he played an
yeah,
exceptionally good innings when he came in because the need of the hour, you can see Ajinkya Rahane was struggling. He had taken 2 overs, scored only 9 runs. So someone needed to kind of get that initiative. And Daryl Mitchell did that beautifully.
yeah, absolutely. I think that celebration from Mitchell tells you that the team management was backing him, and then he repaired their faith. I think that was a kind of gesture that he made after his 50, and I think. I mean, that knock was required for him because CSK was struggling in that middle order. We saw Ravindra Jadeja coming up. Moeen Ali still not utilized in that middle order. So I think they needed somebody to do that job. We have been talking about Ambati Raidu and what he used to do for them, and I think they were missing that kind of a presence. So I think Daryl Mitchell, I think, just did that job for them today, and I think they will hope that he will continue in this manner because he then becomes a very critical player for them. Because let's not forget, Shivam Dubey, he's not really fielding these days. He's basically batting and then going off as an impact sub. So Daryl Mitchell then becomes their only medium pace option apart from their key bowlers. I'm not saying that they require his bowling because they already have plenty of bowlers with them. They have already have 6-7 bowlers. They have plenty of options all the time. But still, I mean, if they need somebody on a in a difficult situation, I think that can still happen with them with Darren Mitchell. So I think, yeah, it's a good sign that he has now come back in form. This was his first significant contribution, I would say, in CSK colours. and then Shivam Dube continuing his form. At the end, I felt that by the end of first innings, I felt that there was good enough due on the present on the ground, and I think they were really struggling to nail those full Yorkers or even those bouncers. I think Dube was picking them beautifully. I mean, they bowled a few bad deliveries because they were not able to grip the ball. So I think he latched onto them perfectly, and he has done what he has been doing till now. Again, 39 from 20, almost striking at a 200. I think it's a very good knock once again for him, and I think they will want Shivam Dube to continue in this manner, because then when he gets those runs, they basically win all the matches whenever he has got going. So yeah, that's Shivam Dube for them.
Yeah, last word on that batting card. Save the best for last. Ruturaj Gaikwad, once again continuing his form. Not the worst time to score runs, is it? Just when the selection
Yeah.
committee is meeting up and looking for options for a third opener for the T20 World Cup. I know you've got some thoughts around this, but yeah, any thoughts on Ruturaj's innings today?
He played a good knock. I think he has scored already a 100 this season against LSG that came in a losing cause. I think this was a good innings. I think in that last over, when he played that first dot, I felt he is not going for that century. He was going for some runs. So he took that risk, and he then got dismissed in the process. I mean, he could have easily maneuvered that ball for a double, but I think he wasn't going for that century. He was looking after the team's total. So I think full marks to him for doing that. And 98 from 54 on any day, I think it's a very good innings. I felt probably he got slowed at the back end. He could have scored maybe at 190, 195, but these things can happen. And on a pitch like Chennai, the heat takes out so much. I mean, takes away so much from you, and sometimes it can happen. I saw him eating some supplements after that inning, so he was clearly feeling the heat. So I think whoever feels that maybe he should have scored in a much quicker manner, I think that's for you. I mean, it's not easy doing that on a pitch like that, because he had to again come back and then field for full 20 overs and then captain the side. So what he has done, I think, again, a very good job. Almost scored his second century of the season, but I think now he's back in good form. I think he will still get those runs in next few matches.
Yeah, and 212 on that surface at the halfway stage, and with Dew being there,
Yeah.
I thought, oh, yeah, it's a good score, but who knows what to expect with SRH. But as soon as that inning started and those first two wickets fell, my mind went back to a long time back, almost 30 years back. It was 1996 World Cup time. India was playing Sri
Sri
Lanka,
Lanka.
and Sri Lanka had two openers. One was Sanath Jayasuriya, the other one Romesh Kalwitharana,
Yeah.
and they were creating absolute havoc in that World Cup, smashing every attack to all places of the ground. And the thought on everybody's mind was, how do we get these two guys out? Now we've got Abhishek Sharma and Travis Head pretty much in that same
Yeah.
mold, giving nightmares to everyone, and everyone's planning how to get these two out. India used a trick in that World Cup. They bowled wide to both of them, kept the third man square, and got them going after the bowling
Yeah.
and getting caught at third man, which was a brilliant ploy, and it worked beautifully because in
Yeah.
those first two overs we had both those wickets. Exactly the same thing happened today.
Yeah.
Is I don't know whose plan it was, because it came off beautifully. The plan was to bowl wide, stay out of their arc, and make them reach for the ball. The square boundaries at Chepauk are pretty
Yeah.
decently wide, and they kept the square man there and third man there and got them caught.
Yeah.
Um,
They could have done two things actually. They were defending 212 with due. I felt they could have brought Moeen Ali in that power play because two left-handers were batting, but that would have probably kept the run flow in check. That may not have given them wickets early on. So I think they went with the difficult option of going with the seamers, who could have given them wickets, and that is exactly what happened. The seamers gave them wickets. Tushar Deshpande gave them those wickets at the top, and I think what happened was basically he was bowling into the pitch. He was bowling those slower deliveries, and he was asking them to fetch those wide, slow one deliveries bowled into the pitch, and that's not easy to hit, especially on a pitch like Chennai, where like you said, the wide boundaries, side-on boundaries are pretty longish, and the pitch can do its own thing. So I think the plan was it was a well worked out plan. And then when you get these two openers out quickly, and when you're playing against SRH and when you get Head and Abhishek Sharma out early, then that's when you actually make that first move. You get that advantage when you get these guys out early, because these are the two guys who are making those early, who are basically blowing the opponents away in that power play. So I think now you have controlled 50% of the game, and then you just have to control the rest with Henrik Klassen and Abdul Samad and Eden Makram. So I think that strategy worked out well for them. I think Tushar Deshpande in that power play, he basically won that game for them.
Yeah, I mean, we look at bowling cards, and if you look at this one, you can see that everybody's done their job. Deepak Chahar at the top there, just 22 runs off his 3 overs. Tushar Deshpande, obviously, with all the wickets, 4 for 27 in a 212 run chase is brilliant figures. You got the Fizz doing his stuff on a pitch that was gripping a bit, but at the same time, you have to remember that there was dew, so it wasn't going to be easy, but still delivering 2 for 19 of almost his 3 overs. And I thought someone who bowled beautifully in the middle against Eden Makram and against Henrik Klassen was Ravi Jadeja, because he was mixing his pace up. He was bowling quick. He was bowling slow. He was bowling them wide, keeping out of the batter's arc, and got a wicket with a bouncer. Yes, a spinner getting a wicket with a bouncer, using the 2 bouncer per over rule in the IPL, and just outsmarting. I thought one of the word that came to my mind when I saw this, that they outthought and outplanned and outsmarted SRH completely in this game. And the results are there to see. Even Shardul Thakur doing his job, 4 overs, 27 for 1, just making sure they don't let the batters get under the ball, stay out of the arc, and just showing that even in this madness of 287 kind of scores, there is a way if you want to kind of keep the batters quiet, but it comes with perfect planning and perfect execution. And if you can do those things, you can actually come on top as a bowler.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Shardul is again, if you remember the game CSK played against Mumbai at Wankhede, Shardul was the one who started that middle overs phase when he didn't give anything away. And I think that's where they won that game. And Shardul doing well for CSK is always a good sign, because they know how to use Shardul. So I think then becomes a very dangerous player. He's not getting opportunities to bat this season because of the batting that they have. But I think Shardul bowling those 4 overs economically and taking wickets is always a good sign for CSK. And then today, like you said, all the bowlers contributed perfectly for them. And I think it worked out, because when the opponents had bowled out for 134, I think you could say that most of the things have worked for you in your bowling. And nobody could get a start. Eden Makram just got to 32, but that came off 26 deliveries. And rest of the batters, even Henrik Klassen, he was striking at less than 100 today. Less than run a ball from Henrik Klassen, that's normal. Yeah,
that's a telling stat, because
exactly.
on a day where Henrik Klassen is going at less than run a ball, that means you're having issues. So.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, nobody could get going. They were losing wickets continuously, and I think a lot of credit should be given. You said tactical smartness. I think that's what you need in a 10 team tournament. I think you need that. If you have to qualify in that top 4, I think that's what you expect from these smarter teams like CSK. We have seen this from a lot of teams like Rajasthan this season. LSG have been doing well. I think CSK again today showed that tactical. There is no alternative for tactical smartness. So I think that's what they did today. I think they've now. Let's just quickly, since we're talking about the tactical smartness, let's just quickly look at the league board and let's see what it has done to them. Look at that net run rate. 0.810. They were somewhere around 0.4. So now I think they have doubled their net run rate, and they have gone from number 5 to number 3. So now 3 teams, 10 points from 9 games.
Yeah, we said yesterday that if Chennai won, they would actually displace Hyderabad and take their spot, which is exactly what has happened. And they've not just taken their spot, they've taken it by some distance, because the margin of victory today was 78 runs. Chennai just peaking at the right time. That's what Chennai always do. They peak at the right time, and come the business end of the tournament, they'll always be in there with a chance. With Hyderabad, obviously, chinks in the armor. They're great when they bat first, but they're bowling, with all due respect, is not really performing. I know we skipped kind of their bowling card today, but even if we were to have a quick look at that, they've got some issues because they're going for a lot of runs. What is it that they could do to kind of find some method to this madness?
I think there's nothing much to do there, to be honest. I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar is one guy, senior pro, that they rely a lot on. And Jaydev Unadkat has been doing well for them. I think even today I felt he bowled that at the back end I felt he bowled well, because Pat Cummins went for almost 50 and Natarajan also went for 40 plus. So I think Jaydev Unadkat did a good job at the back end. I mean, if you're bowling 4 overs, conceding 38 runs, but despite that he has conceded only 2 boundaries and a six. So that tells you that
Yeah.
his slower balls worked beautifully for him. And again, going back to that bowling card, I think they basically do not have any top quality spinner in them. Yes, there is Mayank Markande, but he was also taken for some runs. There is Washington Sundar, but he is not playing. So everything just depends on with the way Shahbaz Ahmed bowls. And Shahbaz Ahmed, like we have seen before, that he's not a wicket taker, a genuine wicket taker. He's a good bowler, but he is somebody who can keep the run flow in check, but he's not somebody who can keep taking wickets. So I think that's where they are missing somebody like a Hasaranga, because let's not forget, even Hasaranga was a part of the squad, but he could not join because of
Yes.
injury issues. Yeah, so I think they are missing, that personality in that phase. I think that's the only thing I think they can do. I mean, there's nothing much that you can do at this stage, but I think the batters are taking care of their weaker side, which is their bowling, in my opinion. So I think the batters are doing still a good job. I mean, they would hope that this was just one-off game for their batters, where things didn't work out for any of them. I mean, it was a collective failure. I mean, none of them could get going, and I think this thing can happen when things are going your way. I think one of games like this can happen.
Yeah, one last comment on that game is it looked like CSK only needed one fielder on
Yeah.
the field, which was Daryl Mitchell, because he picked up 5 catches for them. If they didn't have any other fielders, it wouldn't have mattered because he was just everywhere and the ball found him like an absolute magnet. It's not often you get 5 catches in a T20 game. Can happen in Test cricket when you're in the slips and you pick up some catches.
Yeah.
But yeah, just phenomenal performance by Daryl Mitchell all round. Maybe they just needed to give him the ball, would have picked up a couple of wickets as well. Right. So there we have it. Bengaluru still at the bottom, even after winning, because of the fact that they've had such a shocking
Yeah.
start to their tournament. But still, coming back and playing for pride, as Virat Kohli said, and putting up the points, and will still continue to play spoil sport
Yeah.
for a lot of other teams towards the business end of the tournament.
Yeah.
That loss really, I think, is the nail in the coffin for Gujarat, because now they've got 4 games and they have to win all 4
Yeah.
to get to that 16 points. Their net run rate's not the best, which means, yeah, it's going to be an uphill task for them.
Yeah.
Chennai, on the other end, sitting pretty, third place, good net run rate, looking good, peaking at the right time. Hyderabad as well, in with a chance, but with Lucknow close on their heels. And
Yeah.
Delhi, don't forget Delhi, because they're having a resurgence there. So yeah, it looks like Hyderabad, Lucknow, and Delhi will fight it out for that fourth spot
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah, Hyderabad is going to. They will have to be very careful here. They should not lose momentum there, because why I'm saying this, because Chennai will play 2 games against Punjab, 2 games out of their remaining 5, and Punjab are currently on 8th. I mean, I'm not saying that they are not capable of winning, but when you play a couple of games against teams who are at the bottom of the table, you back yourself as a team sitting on number third position. You back yourself to win those games. And similar to that, Lucknow are sitting on 5th, but they will play 2 games against Mumbai Indians. So again, another double header against Mumbai coming up, and Mumbai are currently not doing well. So I think these teams will look to win these 2 matches, and they will look to consolidate that position in the top 4. So I think Hyderabad cannot afford losing more points. I think so they will have to be a bit more careful, because of what happened last season. We have seen this happen earlier as well, that they sometimes lose momentum and then they find it very difficult to come back. So I think Hyderabad will be, they will have to go back to drawing board and will have to do something about it.
Yeah, the drawing board for them is pretty simple. Just win
Yeah.
the toss, bat first, and pile on 250 plus once again, and that'll win them the game. So, yeah, maybe that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
Right, what we got coming up tomorrow? KKR versus DC tomorrow. DC obviously coming off some really impressive wins, as you can see, two back-to-back wins there. The Kolkata Knight Riders, on the other hand, were on the receiving end of an absolute shell-shocking battering at the hands of Punjab,
Yeah,
in that last game. So yeah, coming off that loss. It won't be easy to come off that loss, especially at home, the
yeah,
way Punjab demolished them, would it, Sarvesh?
yeah, absolutely. 261 getting chased is it's. I mean, that is never easy to digest. But we we can also say that that is not going to happen on every day. So I think they will still
Yeah,
back themselves if they get to a total like that. But I think again, what DC did to Mumbai a couple of days yesterday, in fact. So I think that also tells you that they are also backing their batting. So I think it will be down to two teams who will back their batting to do the heavy lifting for them, and then they will hope that their bowling will come to the party, and then they will support their batting. So, but I think, in my opinion, KKR's bowling is slightly, they are having a slightly better tournament than DC. So I think KKR will again look to do something about it, because top teams, they don't like losing back-to-back games. We discussed this a lot of times, and now they have lost that game last time against Punjab. I think they will look to get back to winning ways. They have been, if you look at their form, they have lost 3 games in those last 5 matches. So I think they will again Kolkata will look to do something about it. They will have to come back strongly, because this is not the time for losing games. This is the business end. This is very consolidated. So I think Kolkata will have their job cut off, and Delhi Capitals, they will, I think, in my opinion, they will just look to go all out and do what they did a couple of days before, because it still looks slightly difficult for them compared to other teams. So I think they will still look to do just play out, go out there and play freely.
yeah, those statistics tell us that whenever these two sides play, it's a pretty one-sided affair, with the average winning margin being 56.8 runs and the totals being chased in 18.4. The venue history also tells us a similar story, that it's a one-sided game, 24.7 and 17.5, the winning margins. Um, but one contest that I always look forward to when there's a DC versus KKR game is that of Kuldeep Yadav, because
Yeah,
don't forget, he used to play for KKR, and there was a lot of drama around how he was handled over there. And now that he's back in form, I'm sure he must be raring to go and prove a point
yeah,
against KKR.
yeah,
So yeah, lots to look forward to in this game, and don't forget, both the teams needing the points desperately.
yeah,
So it should be a good game, and yeah, we'll be looking at that one with quite some interest. Well, that's pretty much about it on this Super Sunday. Anything to add, Sarvesh, before we call it a night?
nothing much. I think 2 games. I felt both games were sort of one-sided. I think yesterday was a yesterday was a good day when we saw two good matches. I think today we had two one-sided games.
Yeah, the IPL always throws up surprises when you think that the games are going to be close. They throw up one-sided games, and when you least expect it, you'll get some absolute cracking nail biters that come your way. Well, that's about it from us on this super weekend. It's been we're almost, what, 75% through with the tournament so far.
Uh,
Um,
Not 75. I think
yeah,
we yeah, close to that, close to around
yeah.
65, 70%. Yeah,
70%. And yeah, it is the business end, so yeah, keep watching. We'll keep bringing you some good analysis of all the games, most of the games at least. And until next time, keep subscribing, keep liking, keep following us on all our social media handles. And we love doing this, so keep giving us your feedback and telling us how we can improve ourselves. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this is Rahul and Sarvesh signing off.